Well, here I'm going to try to do, justice, for Mr. Grob and in his book. I think I started communicating with him or talking with him in early 2019 or maybe even 18 with him and his wife Melissa. Damn clock. We're going to keep it going though. And, I'm a security guy, so I can't remember how it started. I think I got myself involved in something, that somebody was negatively saying, just talking out of their butt about Mr. Grob, and Mr. Grob, not only did he document everything, but he saved everything. I mean, so it's kind of really hard to fight what he says. You know what I mean? But some people in every community and especially the Elvis one, sometimes they get nasty, and they drawn up sides on good guys and bad guys, and um, here just recently I seen where two, I guess you would call them kids of Memphis mafia members got in an argument, a very public argument, and it was ridiculous to see because I don't understand it. But anyway, I began talking to him. I think it was late 2018. Um, we hit it off real well. They sent me a couple. I got some signed pictures of him and Elvis. I think that's the first things that they got, and they're on my wall right now. And we just began communicating, and I guess I didn't know at the time, but Dick was severely ill, and he was still making public appearances, and really no one about it. Um, his wife sent me a message, saying that that he was sick, and he's been sick for a while, and it kind of broke my heart. Well, it actually did break my heart because it's like, I don't know. I'm a security guy, and once you seen the stuff that this guy did, you got to remember before Elvis, who needed this kind of protection, unless you're a sitting president or a king somewhere, you didn't need not have it. It's just that anyone can have it if they got the money. It's a matter of need, and he obviously needed it, and he needed it from early as the 50s, which 60s. That's why he surrounded himself with the Memphis mafia guys, which were his friends. The problem with people hiring friends for security is that feelings always get hurt. Um, I have a client out of Colorado, and they're a festival company, and we did three or four festivals for him, and a great guy, a guy named Tyler. Uh, Looks a little bit like Jim Morrison. He's talented too, probably just as talented as he is. I was talking to him when we were negotiating that, and he was saying that initially as they grew, they brought in friends, but there was always some kind of problem, and you don't want to take that stuff. I guess when you get big or you get to a certain point, what you do out there is your personal life, but as you can avoid the connection of the two, you always want to do that. And I think that was a lot of problem with them. Not saying that they didn't do a great job, because obviously they did, but I think a lot of things that we've seen, especially towards the end, was because of hurt feelings. And not saying that security guys like Mr. Grob don't have feelings. They just know where to put those feelings on certain occasions. The book I'm talking about, and this is actually really cool. Before he passed, they sent me his book called Elvis Safe and Sound. You can get it at the Memphis Pawn Shop, I think, and I don't think they're on eBay, but I know they're at the Memphis pawn shop. But I don't want to get YouTube to flag it because there's drag racing in the background. So, but we'll keep it rolling. You know, he's from Toledo. Moves to Vegas. He was a cop. He was in the Air Force. Did some other things. Started working with Elvis in '67. Worked with up to Elvis passing, and even did some work with the estate, which the book all covers. And again, like I said, Mr. Grob covers everything. I mean, he saved every piece of information. Even if you look at this, it's an airline ticket. That of a name that he used when he was picking up Elvis's children, when he was flying with Elvis's children. But the other cool thing about this copy here, this is the last book that Mr. Grob signed before he passed. So I have the last book that he ever signed, and it's a treasure. I got some history, Civil War books. That my absolute treasures, and this sits right next to them. But anyway, as I was saying, he covers everything in this book. And if you want to be in this business, or even if you are in this business, this is your book. I mean, it covers seating arrangements, travel from state to state, city to city performing. Elvis, everything about Elvis is covered. I mean, you think about it, every little thing from his shoes to his clothes to his hair to his cologne, to his friend, everything's been put out there, and everything's been digested. This book's a little different because it covers, in the business type stuff, logistics, problems at hotels, and even Elvis and Mr. Grob being sued. For something that they didn't really have any control over. They didn't. The guy was being a prick and wanted to be somewhere where he shouldn't have been, and didn't like being asked to leave. So, or being forced to leave, I should say. We all been there, especially in events and protection. That there's or concerts, there's always one guy that's trying to get to where he shouldn't be, and this guy made a point to where he even turned off the lights and to cause a scene. Also, during this time frame, people got to remember, Elvis did have assassination attempts. In Pontiac Silverdome there was one, and then Jerry Lee Lewis, for one reason or another, wanted to kill Elvis a couple times. It even showed up at the gate. But with this book, it's me talking about it isn't going to do any justice because, like I said, he saves everything. Look at some of the pictures in it. It's the detail. Let me tell you guys, this Mr. Grob was he was a hell of a security guy, and and this book doesn't it doesn't degrade anyone, doesn't degrade Elvis. It doesn't do that. It just tells the story. Of Elvis, and then the stuff that that Dick went through too. Another picture of Dick. I don't know if you can see it, but it's absolutely awesome. And if you're on a tour bus or if you're on a plane, or even if you're not in the business no more, or if you want to be in the business, here's schedules, travel schedules. It's I picked it up and I think I read it in 2 sittings. Some more great pictures of Elvis and Mr. Grob. But anyway, like I was saying, you can pick it up at the Memphis pawn shop. It's called Elvis Safe and Sound. It's written by Dick Grob. I think there's another book out there that he wrote a little bit earlier. Dick, even after Elvis passed, he was able to, he stayed on a little bit. helped with the funeral stuff, which this covers in great detail. And even when four guys tried to steal the body of Elvis, after he passed, it covers that in the court case, and it actually even has, I believe it has the pictures of the guys trying to steal Elvis's body. So, like I said, I know I said it on Facebook 100 times. Here's some more stuff from the funeral. It's a fantastic book. I think it's a fantastic book for any Elvis fan, and I'm an Elvis fan. I think a lot of people are. Mr.Grob is Pinkerton is the grandfather of the community. If I had a Mount Rushmore of security people, who would be on there, and I think obviously Alan Pinkerton would be on there. Probably Big Chick, which was Prince's bodyguard. He's been gone many, many, many years. He has a book coming, or I think it did come out. I think they finally finished it, and it's got a interesting name to it. And then I would put Mr.Grob, because like I said, before Elvis, everything that you guys are doing now, everything that we do in concert preparation, concert security, all came from what these guys were doing and what they did. And he broke it down, a lot of it on Secret Service information, obviously. Large movements of crowds. He was well taught in those things. And like I said, it's an amazing book. And I know, I even got, like I said, I got his last autograph. He had an issue with his hands too when he passed. That's why a lot of his autographs are a little squaggly, but it's a great book. And if you haven't had it, then you're missing out. Like I said, especially if you're in the business. And I know I'm not doing this any justice, but it's he was a great guy, and he lays it out. It's all very simple. Anybody can understand it. He provides a ton of information with the facts that he's trying to prove, and you can tell that he really cared for Elvis, even though that there was there may have been some people on the inside taking advantage of things, and he brushes on it a little bit, but you can see that he's not really trying to say things that have already been said, but there was things going on that probably shouldn't have been. But what a great guy, and it was an honor the little bit of time that I known him. I wish I would have got to know him more, especially when he was out doing his talks. There's a lot of videos out there with him giving speeches. There was one for I can't remember what it was. It's one of I think he's in Marlowe's or something, which is in Memphis. It's a pretty good video. But that's it. We're gonna leave it right there. Again, the book, Elvis Safe and Sound, and you can't miss out. It's like I said, especially if you're in this business. Even like right here is more tour schedule stuff. So we'll talk later. Buy the book. You won't miss out. I think they should make a movie out of it. And I think it'd make a great movie. That's it. All right, we'll talk to you later.